The SEED program is a program in the city of Stockton where 125 families are given $500 a month, no strings attached, for 18 months. These 125 families are from throughout the city, and the only requirement was they had to live in a zip code that was at or below the city's median zip code.
Gotcha. How many people get this money? Who and how many people get this money?
So 125 individuals for the next 18 months will be given $500 a month. The only requirement were these folks had to live in census tracts or zip codes that made, on average, at or below the city's median income of $46,000, which means that there's some people in the program that make more than $46,000 and some people who make less than.
Okay. Who's paying for the funds if it's not a taxpayer-related situation?
So this program is not taxpayer funded, it's all philanthropically funded. So it's funded by donors like the Economic Security Project, Goldhirsch Foundation, and others.
Okay. Let's see here. We just got to look at the first round of data for this program. What did the data show?
The data showed what I think we all knew, that the folks in this program, because they're folks in our community, are no different than me or the folks at home watching. That folks are making the great decisions with money. They're spending it on necessities like food, like shelter, like merchandise, like utilities, and not on things like drugs and alcohol, number one. And number two, it also shows that the vast majority of people who can work do work. And the issue isn't that people aren't working, it's that work isn't paying the wages needed to provide for housing and utilities and cars and kids, etc.
So the data show, she was asking, like, what did the data show? So it showed that people are using it to
Yeah, so the data shows that people are using the money how you would use it, I would use it, people at home would use it, to buy food, to pay for bills, to pay for back to school clothes, to do all the normal things we do with money every day.
So specifically, how are people choosing to spend their money? Is it on just those types
Yeah,
of things?
so-
We're not seeing it frivolously spent.
So according to the first 6 months of data, 40% of the money was spent on food. 10% to 15% was spent on utilities. 20% was spent on merchandise. Less than 1% was spent on drugs and alcohol.
Are you surprised by these findings?
I'm not surprised because I've said from the beginning, I don't think people who are struggling, people who are working hard but can't make all the bills pencil out every night, I don't think they're different than me. I don't think they spend differently. I think I'm in the same boat, right? So I expect them to spend money how I would spend it. So I'm not surprised at all.
Do you feel this program is working? Is this program working?
Absolutely, I think the program is working so well that the challenge is what do we do to extend it for more people? Because it's more than 125 families in the city of Stockton, more than 125 families in the state that are working hard, that are contributing, that are part of our community, that just can't, who are one paycheck away from financial ruin, who are stressed and anxious because of their bills, and who are literally working themselves to death.
Right, and you're saying it's a combined household income of $46,000?
$46,000, which is our city median.
Okay. So if a single person is making less than $46,000, they can sign up for this program?
Well, it was randomly selected, so basically all you have to do was live in a neighborhood where the average of all the incomes in the neighborhood was $46,000 or less. So that means there's people in the program who make more than $46,000, who, because they happen to live in the neighborhood where the average is less than that. And there's people in the program who make less than $46,000. And I think it goes to show that it's not just quote unquote poor people or people in poverty, it's the vast majority of people in this economy that are struggling.
What's the monthly median income of this treatment group?
The monthly median income is about $1,800. But for folks who want to know look at the data for themselves, they can go to stocktondemonstration.org and they can see sort of median income, look at all the charts, who the people are, what are the demographics, etc.
Gotcha. What is next in this process?
What's next is we're going to spend the next 12 months seeing what changes. How are people feeling? Are they happier? Are they healthier? What does it mean for their income volatility per month? Are they more stable?
How long will this group of people continue to get the checks of $500?
So 18 months from the start of it, so from February. So it's one more year.
So basically through the end of next summer?
Through the end of next summer, absolutely.
Okay. Every Democrat president candidate has said that they want some form of this seed program nationwide. Any thoughts on if this should be expanded across the country?
Absolutely, and I think this is one of the few things that are bipartisan. Republicans and Democrats, both at the end of the month, are trying to figure out how do I pay for these bills, whether it's health care, whether it's student debt, whether it's rent, whether it's utilities, whether it's car note, whether it's that one unexpected emergency. A lot of people, everyone but like the top 1% are really struggling in this country. So I think it's incumbent on everyone to figure out what can we do to give every American a fighting chance in the income floor.
I'm going to round back to her last couple of questions here. But, okay, take me for example. I'm considered a high wage earner. I'm just barely making more than the $46,000. How do you get someone like myself in a program like this? Because I totally don't qualify for it. So if this is going to be expanded nationwide, how would you go out? Because there's a lot of people like me who have to pay bills and would love something like this.
But I think I did a good job explaining it. But essentially, to qualify, you just had to live in a neighborhood that was at or below the city's median. So in Stockton, 76% of people in the city of Stockton live in a neighborhood that the average income is at or below the city's average of $46,000, which means some of the folks in those neighborhoods actually make more than $46,000, and they're part.
It's only goes by neighborhood, so it depends on what neighborhood.
So it depends on the neighborhood you live in.
Okay.
But there's Senator Harris has a proposal now for families making $100K or less to be given $500 a month through the tax code, called her Lift America Act. So I think what's exciting to me about this project is that we're seeing that economic insecurity is not just for folks in poverty or folks who are working poor or folks who are unemployed, that there's people with good jobs, people who are making teachers, construction workers, social workers, who have student debt, who have crippling bill, who are still trying to figure out how to make things pencil out. And I think that's why a solution like this is so advantageous, because it's not for them, it's for everyone, it's for us.
Okay, cool. Going back to anything else you would like to add, and she had a couple other questions on my other side. That'll be the last question.
No, fine.
Let's see here. She said, also to be sure, how are they tracking what people are spending this money on specifically? You're getting your data, so how are they tracking it?
So the data is found, the money is distributed on debit cards.
Gotcha.
So because it's on debit cards, you can see sort of what transactions are being made with the debit card. And then they're also doing interviews with people as well to get more of an understanding as to, okay, what does this mean? Or are there things that the debit card's not capturing that we should know?
All right. The percentage of the money accounted for in the release only adds up to 77%, including food, home, goods, clothes, utilities. What else are people spending the money on? I'm assuming it's for the other stuff too, right?
Yeah, I think, I'm not the researcher, so I don't know exactly how every single cent is spent, but I think broadly we see that folks are spending money on the things that you would spend money on.